Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of plant chemistry with the architecture of essence. We're going to uncover the precise underlying science of how to absolutely maximize herb essential oil yields. I mean, if you've ever wondered why some commercial harvests give you incredibly rich therapeutic grade oils while others just fall completely flat, well, you're in the exact right place. Understanding this isn't just about making things smell nice, right? For advanced growers and the global agricultural industry, mastering this architecture is literally the difference between a cheap commodity crop and a highly prized, premium medicinal or perfumery extract. Let's get into it. Okay, picture this. Imagine two farmers. They're growing the exact same herb cultivar, they're planting it in the exact same soil profile, right under the exact same sun. But at the end of the season, they end up with completely different essential oil yields. Farmer A's harvest produces this weak, kind of uninspiring aroma and a remarkably low oil extraction rate. But Farmer B, their harvest releases a scent so powerful, so concentrated, that you can actually smell the volatile compounds evaporating off the field before you even step foot in it. We're talking extraction yields that are double, sometimes triple that of Farmer A. So what creates that massive difference? Well, I can tell you for sure, it's not luck. And surprisingly enough, it's not even just the genetics of the plant itself. The real secret to high essential oil yield begins way before the harvest. And honestly, it has almost nothing to do with standard agricultural practices. It's actually hidden deep within the plant's own ancient survival strategies. Section 1. The Great Yield Mystery. Biomass versus concentration. You see, once you understand how herbs actually produce essential oils, the whole game changes. The biggest beginner's mistake, and we see this all the time, is focusing solely on growing a giant leafy plant, just massive biomass. Instead, you need to focus on the actual chemical concentration within those leaves. It's so easy to forget that, to the plant, these oils aren't just natural fragrances designed for our benefit. They are vital secondary compounds, they are active survival tools, and highly evolved defense systems. And they're synthesized at a massive metabolic cost just to keep the plant alive in a really hostile environment. And brilliantly, how that defense works in nature is basically a masterclass in evolutionary chemistry. Like when mint produces menthol, it isn't making a refreshing tea additive. No, it's deploying a potent biochemical deterrent against hungry insects. Or take lavender. It creates this complex matrix of aromatic compounds, things like linalool and linoleal acetate, that protect its delicate flowers from microbial attacks, while at the exact same time serving as a targeted beacon to attract specific beneficial pollinators. And rosemary produces heavy oils, like camphor, specifically to reduce environmental stress and stop water loss in really harsh climates. These aren't perfumes, folks. This is a sophisticated chemical armory, synthesized exactly when the plant needs it most. Section 2. Mastering controlled plant stress, the ultimate trigger. Now, because these oils are biological defense mechanisms, it leads us to something absolutely crucial for growers. Challenging conditions are actually the trigger for stronger production. That's the aha moment right there. Plants produce the strongest oils not when conditions are perfectly pampered, but when conditions challenge them slightly. It's a total paradigm shift. Think about it from a biological standpoint. If a plant has endless water, perfect nutrients, zero environmental threats, why would it waste energy synthesizing a heavy chemical defense armory? It wouldn't. It just grows leaves. Perfect stress-free conditions actually dilute the oil. A massive lush green basil plant might look super impressive, but if it grew too fast with zero struggle, its essential oil concentration is going to just plummet. Moving to Section 3. Sunlight, water, and soil. Applying the stress. So professional growers take this biological secret and they actively apply it using three main environmental variables. First up, sunlight. Most aromatic herbs absolutely thrive under intense direct light. The interaction between incoming photons and the plant's cellular machinery is direct. More light provides the high energy needed to drive photosynthesis and power the complex metabolic pathways that actually form those volatile compounds inside specialized leaf structures. They're called glandular trichomes. If you've ever walked along a dry, sunny hillside and rubbed some wild rosemary between your fingers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The smell is dramatically stronger, much more vibrant and complex than that exact same species of herb grown in a soft, shady, protected spot. Next up is water. And man, the management of soil moisture is heavily misunderstood in essential oil production. Obviously, extreme drought severely damages plants. It causes cellular collapse and just kills growth altogether, which we absolutely want to avoid. But mild, controlled stress, that actually increases essential oil concentration in Mediterranean herbs like thyme, rosemary, sage, and oregano.
When water gets slightly scarce, the plant prepares for a drought by increasing the density of its glandular trichomes, those tiny sacs holding the oil, and pumps them full of compounds to reduce transpiration. The keyword here is controlled. Pros carefully pull back on irrigation just slightly before harvest. Too much stress ruins the crop, but too little leaves you with watery, weak growth and totally diluted chemistry.
And then, of course, there's soil nutrition. Look, adding more fertilizer does not automatically mean more oil. Actually, it's often the exact opposite. According to the carbon-nutrient balance hypothesis, dumping excessive nitrogen onto plants pushes them into rapid structural, leafy growth. Sure, the herbs get much larger, but they become totally watery. The plant directs all its carbon resources into building cell walls instead of synthesizing complex carbon-based secondary metabolites, like essential oils. Balanced nutrition, on the other hand, might give you slightly smaller plants, but they are highly concentrated. They're packed with aroma and rich in trace minerals that act as vital cofactors for the enzymes that actually build the essential oil molecules. You know, it's fascinating because underneath the surface, plants are constantly interacting with this vast, invisible network. Fungi, bacteria, moisture, minerals, roots on microbes. Healthy soil biology and abundant organic matter directly influence the production of these secondary metabolites. For example, specific mycorrhizal fungi form these symbiotic relationships with the roots, essentially acting as a giant, extended nutrient-gathering network. And when certain roots on microbes interact with the plant, they act as mild elicitors. Basically, they trigger the plant's localized immune response. This biological trigger tells the plant, hey, ramp up your essential oil production as a defense readiness measure. The living ecosystem of the soil literally shapes the chemical quality and therapeutic value of the essential oil itself. It's just wild.
Which brings us to Section 4, perfect timing and handling the fragility of oils.
Okay, so you can have the perfect soil, the perfect controlled stress, and the perfect sunlight. But if you mishandle this next stage, you can lose your entire yield in a matter of hours. Timing is absolutely everything. Different herbs reach their peak oil concentration at very different physiological growth stages. Take lavender, for instance. It's optimally harvested near full bloom to maximize its specific ester profile and attract pollinators. But peppermint? That one usually reaches maximum oil quality, shifting its chemical balance from harsh menthophorin to desirable menthol shortly before flowering. And basil produces its optimal oil levels just before the flowers fully develop. If you miss this precise growth stage window, even by just a few days, you can severely diminish your final yield and totally alter the chemical fingerprint of the oil. And get this, it's not just the day of the season that matters. The exact time of day matters just as much. The biological window is super tight. The absolute ideal time to harvest is right after the early morning dew completely evaporates, but before the intense midday heat hits. Why? Well, these compounds are highly volatile, and vapor pressure increases with temperature. If you step into an herb field by midday and smell an incredible, overpowering aroma on a hot afternoon, that actually means valuable oil is literally evaporating into the atmosphere before you can even extract it. The plant is losing its essence to the ambient air. Crazy, right? So post-harvest handling is really where the final battle for yield is won or lost. First, you absolutely must harvest carefully. Rough handling instantly ruptures those fragile, microscopic oil glands right on the leaves and flowers. It smears the oil all over the plant where it rapidly oxidizes and evaporates. Then, step 2, immediately move the harvested material out of the heat. Leaving cut herbs sitting in the sun allows thermal degradation to destroy aromatic compounds in minutes. Finally, step 3, you have to enter controlled drying or distillation immediately. Too much heat or aggressive airflow during drying flashes off the exact volatile compounds, those delicate top notes that you just worked an entire season to cultivate. Section 5, farming chemistry, not plants. The precision shift. This right here is where basic cultivation transforms into advanced precision agriculture. The best essential oil growers in the world aren't simply farming herbs, they are actively managing chemistry. Every single variable we've discussed today, light intensity, soil moisture, nutrient balance, harvest timing, drying temperature, all of it fundamentally changes the final composition of the oil. Even plant genetics play a massive role. Within the exact same species, one specific cultivar might yield a high linalool chemotype that's perfect for relaxing aromatherapy, while another genetically identical-looking plant gives strong camphor notes that are way better suited for medicinal rubs. Commercial growers have to meticulously map out these variables and match precise genetics to the specific demands of the perfume, medical, or culinary markets. So, We arrive at the core thesis of this entire explainer. And if you take one thing away, let it be this. The goal is not maximum leaves, it's maximum concentration. Everything that strengthens a plant's natural defenses, within healthy, controlled limits, of course, directly influences the intensity and the quality of its oils. The environment literally shapes the chemistry. Once growers truly understand that fundamental biological difference, their entire agricultural strategy pivots from maximizing sheer tonnage to maximizing chemical expression. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Are you growing for size or are you growing for chemistry? Just think about that next time you see a massive, overgrown but completely odorless basil plant sitting at the grocery store. If you enjoyed this explainer, make sure to subscribe and stick around. You definitely won't want to miss our next explainer, where we dive deep into the fascinating mechanics of distillation and storage. We'll see you then.